What up, boxing world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing news. And I know a lot of you guys are saying, hey, boxing's on the decline, bro. MMA's taking over, bro. I'm here to let you know you were sadly mistaken. Boxing is doing great. There's a lot of great things in store. We've had a great year of boxing. We've seen a lot of upsets, and there's more to come. The Nonito fight, Bam Bam, Brandon Rios is fighting. Mike Alvarado, two undefeated fighters. Paulie Malignaggi is fighting in the new Barclays Center. There's a lot of good stuff on the horizon, so just stay tuned. I just want to get into a little bit of boxing news. And that's first thing is Mayweather Sr. is going to be the new trainer of Victor Ortiz. And you boxing fans know that Victor Ortiz lost his last fight to Josecito Lopez, and he sustained multiple fractures in his jaw. So, my thoughts on this: Floyd Mayweather Sr. is a very knowledgeable boxing expert. He's a former fighter, and he's the one that actually instilled boxing into the Mayweather family. So, you got to give him credit there. The biggest thing is it doesn't matter who your mentor is, it doesn't matter who your tutor is, you have to be willing to embrace and apply whatever knowledge or advice or training that they give you. So, in Victor Ortiz's case, his biggest problems are these two things. One, his defense. Two, he has a whole black cloud surrounding him about being a quitter, and I'll touch on that also. As far as the training, it just really depends. It depends on how he applies the training, because many of you fight fans know that you can have the best training camp, but the moment you're in that square and you get hit with something, or you're forced to adjust, your opponent forced you to adjust, a lot of people go into survival mode, or they revert back to however they initially fought, as opposed to any new training that they learned or new techniques. They're going to fight exactly how they've been fighting. And the thing with Victor Ortiz, he's mid-20s. He's been fighting since he was a kid, like most boxers. And that's like 15 to 18 years of history that a lot of boxers have to undo when they get a new trainer, and they have to be able to apply. Now, in certain situations, it can work. Most recently, Marcos Maidana, his last fight, he looked like a different fighter. I've never seen Marcos Maidana even remotely defensive-minded, and he was working off of a jab, and I don't remember seeing those things. I usually considered Maidana as just a tough, badass Argentinian who can hit hard. But Robert Garcia has been putting in work with him, and it showed in his last fight. So against Soto Carras, I think he looked tremendous, especially seeing him fight Devin Alexander pre-Robert Garcia and how he looked in that fight at 147 to most recently Soto Carras. So that was an instance where the training, it looks like it's working, at least right now. But then you have people like Freddie Roach and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Freddie Roach has stated that this last training camp, and that's preparing for the Sergio Martinez fight, on a scale of 0 to 10, he said that training camp was a 3. He said Chavez Jr. didn't want to listen to him. He didn't want to listen to his legendary father, and he wanted to be the boss and call the shots. So even though Freddie Roach's knowledge, and obviously Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. has knowledge, it doesn't look like he embraced that knowledge and applied it, because you've seen how he looked. And don't give me that, oh, he rallied in the 12th round. He still lost every other round and the beginning of round 12. So it really just depends on how that individual fighter applies the training and uses it for their fight game. So in Victor Ortiz's case, it remains to be seen. He also has a second demon, which is he has that quitter aura surrounding him. And honestly, can you blame fight fans? He quit in the Maidana fight. I heard he quit in the amateurs. He basically quit against Floyd Mayweather, and that's by doing things that could get you like disqualified or points taken away because you're frustrated. And he quit in the Josecito, and he had a broken jaw, so I give him that. But at the same time, it's like the boy who cried wolf. If you have a pattern of doing something, that's when you're really ostracized for it. So Victor Ortiz, I find him and Amir Khan, their stories are very parallel. They're both fighters who who were definitely hyped up. HBO showed them support, and in their last fight, they lost in a devastating fashion, in a TKO fashion. Victor Ortiz against Josecito Lopez, and Amir Khan against Danny Garcia. And they both lost 2 fights in a row. Amir Khan also lost to Lamont Peterson. Victor Ortiz lost to Mayweather. So they're both, in my book, in the same boat. And on top of that, they both got rid of their trainer, their longtime trainer. Amir Khan's no longer training with Freddie Roach, and Victor Ortiz is no longer training with Robert Garcia's brother, Danny Garcia. So they both have redemption fights upon us. I know their next opponents, whoever they're selected, they're going to have to put on a good performance because it's all eyes on them and the microscope's on them. People are going to be anxious to see how they bounce back, if they can bounce back. And my prediction is if they don't look good, then their career is pretty much in danger, because at this point it's already in danger, and that would just be digging themselves in a hole. And I'm just being 100% real, folks. In boxing, people want to see you winning. If you have a string of losses, it's not like baseball where you can lose 4 times and then still do good later in the season. In boxing, if you lose 4 times, you're pretty much counted out. So that's just the harsh realities of the fight game. The next order of business is Ricky Hatton. He announced his comeback to the sport out of retirement, and he plans to fight on November 24th. This is not official, but it's rumored. Different UK sources, they're saying Ricky Hatton's next opponent is going to be none other than Australia's Michael Katsidis. As far as this fight, I think Ricky Hatton picked a pretty safe opponent. Fresh out of retirement, you don't want to automatically fight a monster like a Lucas Matisse, because that'll put you right back into retirement if you lose. So I think he picked a pretty safe opponent. Michael Katsidis has a decent name in the sport. He's a former 2-time WBO lightweight champion. He's fought some pretty notable fighters himself. Katsidis has the style. He's an aggressive fighter. He comes forward, and he has a high punch output. And if you watch a Katsidis fight, a lot of times, even the fights that he wins, he has that rocky face at the end. His face is all swole and busted up and cut up. Most recently, Katsidis lost against Albert Menza and Ricky Burns. Ricky Burns also won by KO today. So Katsidis, he's been around. He's just kind of up and down. He's had a roller coaster ride. He fought Juan Manuel Marquez, who TKO'd him in 2010, and then after that, the very following year, he fought Robert the Ghost Guerrera, who also beat him. So he's had a roller coaster career. So Ricky Hatton, I think he picked a pretty safe opponent, and it shows that Ricky Hatton still has a fan base, though, because before the opponent was announced, it still hasn't even been announced, Ricky Hatton pretty much sold out his event, and the fans didn't even know who he was fighting. So that just goes to show you that there's a lot of boxing fans who really support their fighters. As far as Ricky Hatton, he's had his own personal demons. He's had drug abuse problems in his off season. Like I said in the previous video, he tends to gain weight and look real sloppy, and it's not really good. Winky Wright was another fighter who did that, who in the off season they didn't necessarily look in the same shape, and the older you get, sometimes that can catch up with you if you bounce back and forth where you're in shape for a fight and then you get slouchy and bummy and gain a whole bunch of weight. So that's not typically the best thing for a fighter to do. So it's just my thoughts, people, and let me know what you guys think. Subscribe, comment, hate. You know the routine. It's ego. Till next time, signing off.